Hello, welcome again to a new UNICOM Plus podcast. Today we have Jonathon, but not as a guest this time.
No, hi everyone. I'm delighted to be the co-host of this episode, a much more comfortable position to be in. My name is Jonathon Murphy. I am from the City of Turku. I'm a project coordinator, and nice to be invited back.
Thank you. Nice to have you back. And my name is Lucia Vuillermin. I work at Turku University of Applied Sciences as International Relation Coordinator. Very fancy title.
Very fancy.
But it's not just you and me today, Jonathon. No, we actually have a guest. So welcome, Lotta. Welcome to our UNICOM Plus podcast. Would you like to tell a bit about yourself? What do you do? And why did you join us today, maybe?
Apart from all of Lucia's emails.
Yeah, exactly. I was forced to be here now.
Willingly sharing your knowledge.
Thank you very much. Yes, my name is Lotta Kaunonen and I work at Elomatic as Talent Acquisition and Employer Branding Manager since last October. I've been working in HR and marketing, in recruitment and talent acquisition about 10 years. And finding the right talent and try to help young people also to grow as professionals. It's totally my passion, I would say. And I love my work, trying to find and also retain and keep the right talents. So I think that's why I'm here.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm also quite active with universities and university partnerships we have at Elomatic. So yeah, it's great to be here with the important topic.
That's great.
Yeah.
And really good to have you here because again, I think many of the people listening and watching to this maybe will be quite familiar with the services, the career services at the universities, or maybe they've used some services by International House. But I think really, we get a lot of requests from our students and our clients to really hear from the companies themselves. So no pressure.
Yeah.
But we want to hear today about a topic that I think is the most discussing topic. It's the first things that always come when international students are looking for jobs in Finland is the language. Language requirement, especially in recruitment. We know that Finnish is not the easiest language in the world, but it's doable. We can say that. But I think that what the students ask the most. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. And because we work with a lot of newcomers at International House Turku, and I think a lot of people have an idea of where they would like their career to go when they move to Finland or when they graduate. And then I guess they hit this barrier or this wall. It's like, hey, all the jobs I want to go into, all the adverts are in Finnish and Finnish is needed. So again, we thought we'd bring you in today to sort of dig a little deeper into this topic.
HR perspective.
The HR perspective.
Sounds good.
So let's dive into the topic, let's say, and how central do you really think that the Finnish language is when you apply for a job in the recruitment process in Finland?
I would say the boring answer is that it's role-based as always. Of course, we have roles that you can work in any languages basically, and then we have roles that you really need Finnish or actually also Swedish in Finland. And I would say that, for example, in customer service, in public sector, or also in some expert roles in technical field as well, you might need Finnish, little or more. Depends usually on the customers, for example, or the business you are working in. But the good news is that I would say that the English work environments are growing fast. Companies are more and more global. The customers are more and more global. So it's more natural that if you speak English with customers and partners, why not also internally?
Yes, of course.
So, and that's what we do at Elomatic as well. So we have grown global a lot. So we are also changing the internal language more and more English.
It's a process, of course.
It's a process. It's a change management, I would say also, but it's more and more usual in Finland, I would say that.
Okay.
That's great to hear.
Yeah,
because I think, again, we all know that numbers of international students and graduates have been growing quite significantly in Finland over the last, let's say, 5 years, for example. So maybe sometimes it feels like workplaces haven't quite grown at this globally at the same rate, but good to hear that those changes are happening.
And happening in Turku as well. Because we always hear, unfortunately, of talents that graduate from our university and then they have to move to the capital region to find more companies that their language is English, sorry. So, but good you mention even Swedish, because in this project we have even as our partner universities Åbo Academy, and of course for the language is Swedish. So
good point.
sometimes we forget. Because we think Finnish is difficult enough. So.
Yeah, we have two difficult languages.
But I'd say that Swedish, I've never studied. Did you study Swedish a bit?
I took a beginner's Swedish class here at the University of Turku.
Wow.
Jag heter Jonathon. Jag kommer från Storbritannien. Hur mår du? End of conversation. With the greatest apologies to my Swedish teacher.
But do you think it's like a bit more easier if you're like English speaker?
I guess that's what they say. I think German as well. I've heard that Swedish is closer to German, but it's funny actually from working in integration that actually, like if you move here, before your studies or as a family member of a student, you can kind of do this integration path through the employment region, and you can do that in Swedish if you want to. And I think a lot of newcomers actually do think, okay, well, Swedish is much easier, so I will go forward with that process in Swedish. But of course, for the job market, at least in southwest Finland, I think we found, anecdotally at least, that that English is actually in some ways preferable to Swedish, just because of the types of companies that are here. And it's always a disappointment for someone where it's like, nope, you have to learn Finnish, you have to go through Finnish, even though it's a little bit more challenging.
I think we will have actually a podcast about the Swedish language with our colleagues, with Maria.
Yeah, well, this is what happens. This podcast we go kind of off topic, but Swedish is culturally Swedish is very important. That's what we'll say.
It is.
But maybe we can open up and really crack into this term language, which, like, do you feel that when you were talking about language and language requirements, that what the company, and Elomatic in this case, is saying, do you feel that's kind of the same concept or perception as maybe internationals have? Like, are you a Finnish speaker? Because I think, again, there are lots of levels between beginner and fluency, and there are also lots of different types of vocabulary. And for example, we meet lots of people, their Finnish levels are actually quite good. There might be a kind of intermediate level, B1 level, but of course their vocabulary is from a textbook. It's not industry specific. So they can talk very nicely about their hobbies and what they had for dinner and their family tree, but maybe they can't talk about, let's say, the customer service that is provided. But
technical terms.
Terms, But do you have any thoughts on this kind of mismatch maybe between the two?
I would say that from recruitment perspective, the biggest mismatch is that companies write down the language requirement, for example, Finnish, and sometimes applicants think that I need to have the native fluency for the Finnish languages, even the basics helps, or even it helps that you can speak with the team Finnish, and there might be some team members who can speak with clients or partners or so on. So I think that's the biggest mismatch. Of course, there are roles that you need native Finnish, but I would say that in Finland we are quite straightforward in communicating the requirements. So at least, for example, at Elomatic, if there is no language requirements, we don't write that to the job advertisement. So, and when we write that, we really mean it. So I think that that's really also like Finnish culture. But of course, we should be more and more clear what we mean when, like you say, there are a lot of levels, a lot of ways to speak Finnish. So I think that employers should be more clear of how do you need the language, what is the level that you need the language, in what kind of projects, tasks, what kind of people or partners,
True.
you need that. So it's much more easy to understand if my language level is what is needed, if it's enough, or
not.
if it's some or not. Yes,
Simply
yes,
like that.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think this is the question that is most asked from the students, how much Finnish is needed.
Yeah.
But I think we should even switch a bit perspective from the student's point of view, because somebody that has been studying the language, and we know that, they always think about the level, like A 2.2,
Yep,
B1,
yep.
C, and then doesn't really talk to companies if they don't understand.
Yeah.
Even,
That can be also.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So understanding your level, not in terms of numbers or like letters, but what you really can do or not do. And then it's an easier conversation with the recruiters. Like, am I that level that is actually needed? So when you specify maybe the tasks or what is involved in the daily routine of your job, then you make an assessment easier.
Yeah.
And on that topic, I would like to even do tips for our students. That when they don't understand, isn't it easier that they could call the recruiter and ask? Because I noticed, and we were having the discussion behind the scene with Jonathon, students do not call companies, even if they have doubts. Do you notice the same?
Not actually. I would say that international students and applicants, they call a lot, and they email a lot as well, even more than I would say Finnish applicants. So I would say that they are more active in asking if there is something unclear, something is not well explained, or they want to know more, talk more about the role. And usually we have also at Elomatic, we have always a contact person in the job advertisements. So the idea is that he or she is the one who to call to and ask more details about the requirements. But then again, I would like to add actually to the previous that there might be some needs for the Finnish requirements, of course, based on safety rules, based on regulations. You need to understand or use Finnish law, or you need to do some reporting or documentation. So I think that even we are growing more global, also in the work life in Finland, we still have a lot of paperwork
and
in Finland.
So bureaucracy is
It
thing when Finnish is very important.
Yes. And those are examples and also the reasons why sometimes we need the native fluency or like an excellent fluency in Finnish. But then again, there are a lot of roles that is not needed and you can work perfectly in English. So
I think we've heard similar stories and maybe like kind of frustrations maybe from students where yes, the actual role could work in English very well, but everything else, the HR, the contract, the payroll, it just that wider bureaucracy, which hopefully is kind of getting easier, I guess, in the age of as translation software increases as well. Help.
Nowadays, really, there are so many tools that they can help you.
That's true, and they are really good, and we also use them a lot in our company. So we have AI, we have all kind of translations if there is a need for that in a team meeting or with the customers. So
and they are getting better and better.
That's true.
So
that's true.
So maybe you don't need to be fluent in Finnish, but it's good to be fluent in AI, for example.
Yeah. And I would say communications overall. So I think that work life is a lot about communications, about people, about how you interact with people. So language is one point. But then again, if you are communicating well in other ways, so it can compensate a lot. And of course, when we think about recruitment, we are always trying to see the whole picture. So the key is the experience, the skill set you have, what you can do. So of course you can compensate it with language, but the most important thing is always the experience, at least for us when we are looking for technical experts.
Of course.
Okay, this is good to know because again, we are sometimes asked especially from graduates or students kind of finishing their thesis, it's like, okay, well now, do I spend the next 3 months really going deep into more technical skills or spend that 3 months getting from basic Finnish to intermediate Finnish? What's that? And I guess there's no right answer exactly, but it's good to know that technical skills are also valued even for...
Of course, and I think that
speakers.
they are the must-haves for the companies, what you can do and what is the value for the business, because recruitment is always answering to the business needs.
Yes.
So that's why it's the most important. And
It's a very good point. It's actually, when I talk to the students, I really try to tell them to think on the other side of the coin. It's not like about you, but it's how you can help the business. So think on the other perspective, like you are functional to support the business. Value, mission, and practical daily task. So
and also when thinking about, let's say, application or CV, we would like you to highlight your value for the business, not the limitations, which can be, for example, language. So
yes, you can only made up.
That's true.
That's good to know as well. I think it's good to remember that, and I've been guilty of this as well when I've been applying for things as an international, that sometimes you feel like, you do focus on the limitations. You're like, well, like this is me, and like my Finnish isn't so good, but I'm okay at other things. We don't sort of project that confidence maybe in a way, whether it's the language or whether it's just even culturally that we're sort of on the outside a little bit, but I guess sometimes it's good because many internationals that we work with, have so much relevant work experience from their home country.
That's
even
true.
though the recruiters here might not be as familiar with, those companies from abroad, for example.
And also additional languages other than Finnish, because I think that if you are willing to learn a new language, it always tells about the curiosity, your learning skills, how you can adapt to the different situations, your flexibility. So
willing to learn.
Willing to learn, and languages are always a plus.
Yes, definitely.
That's great for someone who only speaks I could say 2, 1.5 maybe.
No, you
Finnish,
do
but
speak
I
more.
only speak one language, but I speak it very well. That's my pitch to employers. But it's funny with language because, again, people have often asked, when we've been working in these Finnish offices, like, what level do you have? But I think, for me, actually, my level of Finnish has improved during work. Like the working environment is a great place to actually improve at least your sort of spoken Finnish. So one thing that I think it's good for companies to remember is that when someone starts with a certain level or certain, knowledge of Finnish, like that will improve. That's like the minimum level they will have during their time working for the company.
And the company helps you, the team helps you, like said, the digital tools. Also the companies like Elomatic, we have language programs. So the idea is, again, that we all learn also continuously at work. So we have language partners, for example, for the language training. It can be English for the Finnish people, it can be Finnish for the English-speaking people. So some other languages. So
that's good to hear.
many
It's
companies,
great.
companies support really with the formal training programs as well. But like you said, the work and the daily life is the best.
The best way, I agree.
Absolutely.
But I would like to go back 1 second. You were talking about some job ads might have really detailed requests for the language. And you use a couple of times the words native. And of course, for an international, become native is impossible. But it's possible to become fluent maybe. So do you think that these language requirements are absolute or they can be a bit flexible? When maybe ask for excellency, then you might come up with different skills. So do you think that somebody should take for this is the rule, you have to have this level of Finnish, or you can negotiate with the company? How do you perceive these levels?
Yes, there is usually flexibility in the requirements, but like I said, Finnish are usually quite straightforward. If we say that we need professional or excellent language fluency or Finnish fluency, I think that we need that usually because of the tasks, because of the responsibilities, because of the documentation, like said before. So there is a need for that to say that so strongly, I would say. But then again, if we say like Finnish required, it won't be a deal breaker. I think that usually it will be something that is a big plus for you. And I would say when we are again thinking about the whole picture, the whole competence, so if you have a weaker professional competence, you can compensate it with the language.
A better language.
Yes.
Okay. Makes sense. So, but it's a good news.
Sure.
Yeah,
For many students.
Yes.
Again, I think so many students are kind of disheartened when they see the job advert and it's Finnish required. It's like, well, this is my dream job and I have everything apart from maybe the Finnish level. So I guess, as I mentioned earlier, calling the company or calling, making contacts maybe before spending 20 hours on the application. Could be.
That is true.
Good tip.
Yeah.
Cool. So far we've been talking quite hypothetically about applicants and candidates and recruitment, but I was wondering in your career, for example, could you share a real life recruitment example? Or was there an occasion where someone kind of surprised you in terms of their language requirements, or maybe the candidate didn't meet the language requirements, but you were still able to move forward with the recruitment process?
Yes, I have. And I'm glad because I have met a lot of international candidates and got to interview. And one, I remember candidate who I didn't know. He didn't express that he can speak Finnish at all. I didn't know that at all before.
Little detail.
A little detail. And he was really good on paper in English, but it was really a really nice surprise when in the meeting, in the interview, he wanted to do that in Finnish. And he told me that, please, let's do that. And I speak as much as I can. So he took it more like a learning experience and learning the situation. And we made a deal that, of course, we switched when you want to switch and when you want to express yourself better in English. So I think it was really a positive experience also for me. And I was so happy that he tried. He let me know that he could speak basic Finnish and it went quite good.
Okay.
So like the reminder is that we are in the discussion always together. We both can help each other. We both want to be understood, and we can help each other to succeed in the interview. So it should be dialogue. Recruitment is always a dialogue.
Yeah.
It's both-sided, and these kind of surprises, of course, have left to my mind.
Do you think he stand out because he was so brave?
Yes, because then it told so much about himself also in other ways, like said, like the flexibility, the communications overall, the how he can adapt to the different situations, to the new situations. So this kind of surprises are always really great.
So that's the key then, again, speak, and we talk about this in our own personal lives, that maybe, especially if you are learning Finnish, alongside like a master's degree, for example, you tend to take a more formal or academic approach to the language, like what are the endings, what's the right tense, what's the right preposition. And if you don't know all of those things, you don't really want to say it, because then, at least I start a sentence in Finnish and then it ends up in English somehow because I kind of ran out of steam halfway through. But I think there is something to be said for kind of bravely and boldly speaking incorrectly, like in a way, because you can still get the message across.
Yeah, and I also want to say that like humans are doing the recruitment, so we are on the same side. Also, like me, we are not native English speakers as well, so that can be for both of us a new language or something that is not our like daily life. So
That's true. I just met one of the teacher, a Finnish teacher in our university, and she said that she will give extra points to students that they are brave enough to make mistakes. Because
Yes.
nowadays, the bad side, let's say, of artificial intelligence is that then the students give perfect homework, so
Yeah.
redefine speeches and everything. And she was like, I want to talk with humans.
Yeah.
And humans do mistakes when they learn, so
I
extra
agree.
points for
Yeah,
mistakes.
yeah, because then it's not personal, it's not authentic.
Yeah.
If you try to be too advanced, I would say, and with languages, I think it helps in the applications or in the meeting or interview that you can use short sentences. You can just speak simple, basic Finnish
Yes.
or English, and it always help. And like you said, mistakes don't matter.
Yeah. It's the same for Finnish people that don't want to speak English,
Sure.
and then they speak perfectly. And I was like, "Oh, what do you want to be, Shakespeare?" You speak perfectly. So it goes on both ways.
It is.
A lesson for me. I should try to be a bit more brave.
I think that's a good message for us all. And I really liked what you said about kind of swapping languages in the interview. And actually, this is one of the things that I was trained in with the employment region back before I was a student, when I was unemployed in Finland and on the language courses, is that we were sort of taught to give not a full interview in Finnish, but kind of like a pitch or an elevator, 30 seconds of the basics in Finnish. And then, of course, after that, you need to switch to English again, but just showing that willingness to describe something. And I've always found that kind of workplace and professional vocabulary very useful if your motivation is to use the language to find a job. And I always say that I can't speak the Kalevala language or this kind of perfect Mikael Agricola looks down on me, very horrible vision, but in a way the language, the utility got me to where I needed to go through an interview, for example.
And there are a lot of ways to show the communication skills any other way. Like you can always be active overall in the meeting. You can ask if something is unclear. You can make conclusions, check the understanding or whatever. Those are all key ways to be actively in the meeting.
True.
Not only with the language.
But we've been talking a lot, and one point that I would like to ask you, that every student asks again, is do you think that the language is actually sometimes used as a barrier, like an entrance barrier to stop the international students to get hired? Or is that the negative thoughts of our international students, or it's actually real sometimes?
It can be real sometime, but again, the same boring answer is the role-based thing, but it's the truth. So sometimes it's a barrier because of what we applying.
Yes, for the needs of the company.
Of course, But then again, like I said, it's really usual that the language is not the deal breaker. It's the whole package you are.
So then maybe they are discouraged, but they should apply anyway.
Yes, I would say so. Yes. And like I said before, again, highlight and make noise of the value that you can give to the company, not the limitations you have, and tell that you are wanting to learn the language.
Yes.
So that is really important.
Yeah, that's really good. And hopefully, again, as we discussed earlier, kind of things are sort of changing, and hopefully companies like Elomatic, and I guess it's usually the larger companies that start this process. I think maybe one thing to acknowledge is, of course, for the smaller companies, they are maybe sort of slightly behind in terms of accepting kind of international workforce and applications, and maybe it's easy for them. If you have a team of under 20 people and everyone speaks Finnish, it's a different team to the teams that you're involved in, like in a larger company.
And there might also be different teams in the same company, so the role requirements may vary depending on the team. If the team language is Finnish or English, if it's if it has already developed, during the years, how is the team dynamics, how are all the like communications channels or onboarding practices or whatever. So I think it's important also to understand that changing the language in the team is a long process, like Lucia said. It's a long way. It's about structures, it's about attitudes, it's about processes and ways of working. So sometimes it takes more, but if you see that in a company they always have Finnish requirements in the job advertisements, maybe in another team in the same company it differs. So don't lose hope if there is a company that you really want to apply to get hired.
I think what Jonathon was saying about the size of the company, sometimes just language is more related to the cultural way that the company operates than if they're like a small Finnish company operated in Finnish for Finland in Finland. Then they they are not necessarily have this need to change the language. So they are happy how they are.
Sure, and sometimes that's not, again, I'm not throwing any shade on those kind of companies. And many of them, like for example, there was an event at the university recently with a smaller company who said, that he didn't really know how it happened, but there's just 15 Finns and they work in English and they have global contracts, and it wasn't a calculated campaign to exclude foreigners, but that's just how the company developed. And I guess the hope is, and maybe I'll throw a shout out to the City of Turku's employer services at this point, who again do a lot of help with recruitment of internationals, both from overseas but also non-Finnish citizens, let's say, who are living in Finland. Hopefully, there'll be support for those companies if they would like to hire internationally. Like, we can definitely help with that. If there are any companies watching this, I'm now addressing this to them.
And I would like to also encourage everybody to learn Finnish, because it's also something that you can get deeper to the Finnish culture, to get to know Finns. It's a key way to interact in any country. So I think it's something that you will get more for the integration in general when learning Finnish, and you will be able to meet Finnish people, and the Finnish network is actually also a good way to find job opportunities which will be suitable for yourself, or get to know companies that might be hiring. So also the network is growing when you know some of the language. So it is easier usually then, but it's not the main thing.
Yes.
So, to conclude this great episode, if we have to think about one key message to say to our students and job seekers,
I would say that don't let the language define your business value or professional value. Let it be something that you develop alongside it.
That's great. So developing is the message.
Wise words.
Yeah, be curious to learn.
I think we delve into this topic quite deep. So thank you so much, Lotta, for joining us. And I think our students will really appreciate the HR perspective.
Yeah.
Because when you come from inside university, they were like, but what would the company say? So now we have the company representative. So thank you so much. Thank you, Jonathon, as usual, for joining us for this co-episode with UNICOM Plus and Fourier. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
See you next time.
See you next time. Thank you for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.